Hi guys, it's Ben here from the Pride of Villa and welcome back to our season review of Aston Villa in 2019 to 20. In this part of the video, we're going to be talking to some fans of Aston Villa. We're going to be getting some insight into what they've been feeling about this season. Just giving them some questions about their thoughts, their opinions on Dean Smith, their favourite players this season, what they think is going to be good for going ahead in the 2020 to 21 season. So if you are going to enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notifications button so you never miss out on content like this. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I'm here with our first guest on this video. Would you like to introduce yourself, mate?
Hello, I'm Harry. I obviously do work for my own channel, Harry FC. I'm delighted to be here on the Pride of Villa YouTube channel to give my thoughts on the season as a whole. Obviously, Villa have just stayed up, so I'm absolutely delighted. But yeah, I've watched a few of your videos, mate, and they look absolutely class. So yeah, I can only say I'm delighted to be here.
It's groovy. Right, we're going to hop straight into these questions. Basically, what we're going to be doing is just going to ask Harry here a few questions, obviously about Aston Villa this season, and try and get into a nitty bit about himself. So obviously, Aston Villa this season finished 17th in the Premier League, a Carabao Cup final. What have you made of them this year?
Well, not this time last season, because obviously we've been through a whole global pandemic. But this time, like towards last season when it obviously ended, we obviously got promoted via the playoffs. If you would have offered me after the playoff final, 17th in the Premier League and a Carabao Cup final in our first season back in the Premier League, I would have 100% took it. Yes, we haven't played really well as well as we would have wanted to when we obviously got promoted. Just look at some of the results that we picked up over the year, over the season, sorry. But on a whole, we survived, and that's the main thing that you need to do when you first get promoted. I know Wolves and Sheffield United in their first season have nearly got like Europe. I know Wolves did get Europe, Sheffield United almost got Europe, but on a whole, I'm just glad that we survived, and that was our main priority when we got promoted from the Championship.
Yeah. Obviously, Dean Smith coming in towards about the first quarter of the Championship last season. To think that in the first two seasons, if you would have given it to him, goes up with his home team in the playoffs in a fantastic 10 games. His main goal this season is to survive the relegation fight. He does that. And not only that, gets a Carabao Cup final in that. Would you consider this season a success or a failure?
If you look at it like that, then I'd 100% consider it a success, because with what we had under Bruce, obviously it just doesn't compare to what we've got under Smith right now. Like, we've got Premier League football. He survived with his boyhood club in his first season. And under Bruce, like if we would have kept Bruce for the rest of last season, well, the season before now, because obviously we're in between seasons currently. But if we would have kept Bruce last season when we were in the Championship, we would not have gone up We would not have gone up, and I'm just so glad that we did get rid of Bruce and got Smith in, because he's done what every Villa fan wanted him to do, and we wanted him to do it after, like, he'd had a season to sort of get used to it and everything, and he did it in his first season. I think that's just absolutely fantastic. Success or a failure this season, and Dean Smith's whole Villa career, I don't know. He got promoted, won 10 games on the trot. And if you look at it like that, he's broke club records. I think that's a success. Some of the results this season, yes, I haven't been great, but that's part and parcel of coming up to the Premier League, especially if you win the playoffs, because in February last year, no one would have expected us to come up, and we did. And I think if you look at it like that, it's 100% a success. And I think this season on a whole, it's a success because we survived. And yeah, I'm not sure how we managed to do it, because 2 or 3 weeks ago, if you would have asked me if we would have survived, I would have 100% said no after we lost to Man United and Liverpool. But look, we did it, and we were 7 points behind with two or three games to go, and we managed to do it. So I cannot be more proud of Dean Smith and his boys for doing that.
Yeah. As you say, turbulent season, some rancid performances. For me, the Villa fans since COVID-19, since the restart, it's been up, down, up, down, up, down. And then those last 4 games, really, Sky Sports saying it best, Smith's great escape. I
Yeah.
know myself, I was saying it probably would come down to that last game of the season with us, Bournemouth and Watford. But what did you make of that last day? Very nervous. You know, survival Sunday. What a good day it turned out to be.
Well, if you've watched my vlog, I don't know whether anybody on the Pride of Villa YouTube channel does watch my videos, but if you've watched my live reaction to that game, you will know how nervous I actually was. And as soon as that final whistle blew at the Emirates Stadium and that signalled Watford's relegation, mate, I was just absolutely over the moon, and I couldn't
Mm,
quite believe it because 4 games ago we looked down and out, 7 points behind, and I think it's just so good that we kind of did it the way we did. Like we always manage to do stuff, but we do it in the most extravagant style. Like last season, we got promoted by breaking club records and winning 10 games. This
yeah,
season, we survived in the Premier League by going our last 4 games unbeaten. No one expected us to go our last 4 games unbeaten, did they? Palace, okay, that was a must win, and I think pretty much every single Villa fan we needed to win that game. Everton, yeah, we didn't win. People wanted us to win, and we needed to win that game, but we didn't. But we made up for it after we beat Arsenal. No one expected us to win that. And that sort of brought us back into it, and obviously took it down to the last day. We drew to West Ham, didn't win the game, but we still managed to survive, and I could not be happier.
yeah. Brilliant vlogs, by the way. Love the
Oh,
reactions.
thank you.
Always fun thing to see. Moving away from
But
then the performances. Dean Smith, obviously, for a manager with no Premier League experience, for someone like him, who, for me personally, good manager, not great, hadn't been tested at Premier League at all in his career. What have you made of him this season? Because again, I don't know if you've watched our vlogs, you probably haven't, but it's fine with that. Fine with that.
well, you're upcoming, aren't you? And
Yeah,
getting people that are sort of bigger than you and have established. Well, I haven't even established myself yet. But if like Max Stokes, right? If you were to get Max Stokes on a video, that's establishing yourself in my opinion. Mate, I can make it happen if you want. If you really want Max Stokes on a video, I can make it happen. I've got contacts, mate. But
believe me, we're
if you,
trying. We're
yeah,
trying. But
fair enough.
but yeah, Dean Smith. What have you made of him? For me, he's had his moments where I think he not definitely should have gone, but should have been a consideration for him to go.
Yeah,
Obviously, he has stayed. There was the talks that there could have been a new manager literally a day after staying
yeah,
up.
that Portuguese geezer, yeah.
Yeah. Along with John Terry and Richard Kelly, what have you made of him this season?
Dean Smith this season, I think people have sort of gone to him when we've lost games and blamed him for because we've obviously last summer when we got promoted we spent over 100 and something. What was it? 130, 140 million pounds. I'm not too sure.
150, I think it was.
Well, I can't think of an exact number, but we spent a load of money. Okay,
Yeah.
we spent quite a lot of money, and to scrape relegation after spending that much and seeing what Sheffield United have done when they didn't spend half as much as that, it's sort of it's not. I can't really put it into words. It's not what we expected when we obviously
Yeah.
spent that load of money, but you cannot blame Smith for that because obviously I'm pretty sure most Villa fans are aware that it was Suso, and I'm glad that he's gone. I said a couple of weeks, I think it was a couple of weeks ago when we lost to, I can't remember who we lost to now. I think it was Wolves actually. After we lost to Wolves, I did a video saying what is going wrong at Aston Villa. I should do one now actually saying what is going
Yeah.
right at Aston Villa. But I did a video saying what is going wrong at Aston Villa, and I said that 2 people needed to get out of the club, and that was Suso and John Terry. The reason I wanted John Terry gone is because we played Chelsea a few weeks, I think it was like 2 games before we played Wolves,
Yeah.
and I don't know whether anyone's seen it. When we scored, John Terry didn't look an ounce bothered. When Chelsea scored, he looked more bothered that Chelsea had scored than when we had scored in the first half, and I just think professional assistant manager should not be doing that. Yes, he played for Chelsea for how many years, but he should not. As a professional assistant manager, he should be supporting the club that he is in charge of. Well, not in charge of, but works for. If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I still stand by that. And Richard O'Kelly, yeah, okay, he's a legend. I love Richard O'Kelly. Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. But John Terry, I'm not too. I love John Terry. Right, he was a great player. And I look up to him as a when I play football, obviously I'm not half as good as John Terry, but I sort of like to base my game on him because I play centre. I play centre defender, and he's obviously one of the best defenders to have played football. So I sort of base my game around him. But as an assistant manager, I don't think he's the right man. And I think if Chelsea came in for him as assistant manager, he'd 100% go there and just leave Villa and not care at all, basically. And I still stand by what I said about John Terry a couple of weeks ago. Richard O'Kelly, don't really have a problem with him. Dean Smith, glad he survived, glad he's staying, because obviously he's a Villa fan and he's one of us.
Yeah. I agree exactly with what you said there. For me, I think I was going to say what's gone wrong this season, but it hasn't gone wrong really. I think
if you look at it like towards the end of the season, we've survived. It hasn't gone wrong. Look at some of the results
overall,
in that season.
Overall,
it's gone wrong.
Yeah. I think my problem with it is it's just a mix of everything. I think I agree with Suzo. That needs to happen. I know some of Smith's players were brought in, but it was the majority of Suzo.
I think it was Mings, Heaton, I think Target, Concert, and Jota. I think I can't remember whether there was anyone else in there, but I think they're the signings that Smith was responsible for. I'm not sure who else was. I'm not sure. Well, obviously I don't work for Villa, but I don't really know. But I'm just presuming that's who he was responsible for, because we obviously had Mings a season before and everything, and he had Concert and Jota at Brentford, so he obviously wanted to bring them in because he knew them. I'm just going to stop waffling and let you get on with it.
No waffle on. But as we said, Suzo, wrong players in my eyes. They've all had their spurts of goodness, even Jack Grealish, even Douglas Luiz. But they've mostly, all for the large part, been a bit poor. I think Dean Smith tactically at times, just rubbish. I go back to the first time he played Wolves this season. Absolutely objectful, disgusting performance there. Really a bad time. For me, going ahead, Dean Smith needs to stay. I'd love him to stay, give him another year, but I think he's got to be more ruthless. I think John Terry needs to go. I don't understand what he brings. For someone with that defensive mindset, you'd think he'd improve the defence, but it shows what we've been like this season.
Yeah.
O'Kelly, I don't get what he brings, so I think he'd go.
But I can't say that about O'Kelly. Come on.
I know it's O'Kelly. It's O'Kelly. But, come on, move ahead. But I think in terms of players, it's as I said, they've had their spurts of goodness. But for the large part, I think nearly every single one of them has been poor. Which brings me on to your favourite and worst player this season.
Favourite? Don't really have one.
Oh.
Obviously, Grealish has been by far our best player, and he sort of carried us. I wouldn't say carried us, but he sort of led us towards victory on some occasions this season. If you look at, I don't know, when's he been the star man? I can't think off the top of my head, but there has been certain games where he's carried us and, as a captain, supported us towards victory. I love Mings. I've got him on the back of my shirt, actually. So there we go. I just love Tyrone Mings as a person, because obviously he came from non-league and everything, but as a season, he hasn't had the best since he got called up to England, to the England team. He hasn't really done anything. So I don't really have a best player, because I would say McGinn, but he's been out for half of it. Honestly, I haven't seen, because we've literally scraped relegation. Sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, would you not consider? Well, for me personally, I think there is 3 players you can choose, because I think you have to choose someone.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry.
I think no. I think you can choose Jack Grealish, because I think although before the COVID-19, I think he did have a really good. He was really starting to get there.
Yeah.
I think.
And then after, he sort of just went off a bit.
Lots, but I think those last 4 games, he's proven himself to be a little bit better. I think for me, however, it's either Douglas Luiz or Konza. I don't
know, because towards obviously when the restart started, they play that. Obviously, Luiz has been our best player in my opinion, and Konsa has done a very, very good job. But before that, that's only a fraction of the season. Before that, they never really did anything. Did that I think he's sort of down to the fans not being there as well, and there's not as much
Yeah.
pressure on them because Luis, he's coming from a Spanish. What was it, Girona? I think he played for before he came to Villa. Girona. He came from there where the fans aren't as passionate as English fans, and every time he's misplaced a pass in front of the whole end. Mate, I'm not going to repeat. I'm not going to repeat some of the things I say because I'm not sure whether your channel's PG or not.
No, it's fine. We've been there already.
Okay. But yeah, Douglas Luiz, he's been our best player since the restart, but that's only for a fraction of the season. Konsa as well. He's come from Brentford, who have 12,000 seats in their stadium. Comes to a 42,000 seat at Villa Park, which is packed out pretty much every week, and when he's had a bad game, gets slighted by the Villa fans, not only in the stadium but on social media after the game as well. That can knock the players' confidence a bit. And I think that after the restart, there's been not as much pressure on players like Luiz and Konsa to do well. Just look at for Luiz, for instance. Look at when we played Bournemouth on the opening. It wasn't the opening day. It was our first home game.
Second game.
I can't remember who it was. Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but someone passed it to him and he sort of dummied it and then went into the path of Harry Wilson. He obviously scored. Someone's obviously, quite a lot of people have obviously slighted him for that. And that's part and part of being a football fan, slighting the players for not doing what's right and what they should be doing. But they're getting used to the Premier League, aren't they? That's the main thing.
I won't ask you worse then. For me,
no, I'll give you the worst. Worst player.
It's not hard. Not hard.
Personally, I'm just going to say Anwar Al-Ghazi.
Yeah.
Honestly, Anwar Al-Ghazi. If you, I don't know whether anyone's watched my old videos from when lockdown first started, but I basically did a ranking Villa players, and I put my own tier at the bottom. So just for Anwar Al-Ghazi, my videos have got a lot better since then. Just don't go and watch that back because the editing, my haircut was just absolutely terrible because I hadn't had a haircut for about 2 months because of my haircut's terrible now. You know what? I don't care.
Join the club. But I agree with you in the aspect of El Ghazi because for me, not only have I got his name on my back as well.
Oh God! Oh no, you haven't. No.
I have. Let's get it on there if you can see it, lads.
No.
But
Why?
it's the fact that last season, and I've always felt this about El Ghazi, I see when he can turn up, especially in that playoff final, I can see a bit of Ronaldo in him. As crazy as that sounds, I do see it in him. But for me, this season he's been woeful. But we'll move this along then. Obviously,
Ronaldo.
The way he runs, the way he models himself after that West Brom game away, phenomenal. I thought that he was the one, but clearly not.
He's got the attitude of Ronaldo, and he's got the ability of I don't even know. Fat Karen from the drinks. Fat Karen down the road.
Down the road.
I don't have a neighbour called Karen, by the way. Don't worry, but I just came up with that on the spot.
Everyone loves Karen. But obviously, we're staying up this season. Suzo's out. It's reported £100 million is being given to Smith to work with to sign 4 players. We've already had a few names leaked. We've probably both done these same videos of who we think we should sign.
I did it. I uploaded it today, actually.
Yeah, great video.
Recording day, I uploaded it today. Oh, thank you, mate. Recording today, I uploaded it this morning, and I've got one coming out in a couple of days what I'd like to see Villa sell and get rid of. Ooh. So stay tuned for that.
But who is your dream transfer? I'm going to say it now so I can let you talk. For me, Said Benrahma, regardless of where Brentford is, I think it should have happened last season. I think it needs to happen this season. The wingers is the biggest problem. And I think Said Benrahma is somebody that not only can play on the wing, but if you need him to, he can go into the centre as a forward and play that role. But I just think the talent that he exudes in that Brentford team is phenomenal. And I think he's someone that would really fit the Aston Villa team. But who do you think, if you had to name one dream transfer this season, who's it going to be?
Something's going to be messy, isn't it?
Oh, yes, lads. Could
Now,
happen. Could happen.
realistically, people are going to call me mad for saying this because obviously wingers wise we aren't the greatest.
Mm.
We need a goal scorer, and me personally, I would go out there and slap 40 million on Tammy Abraham. Call me mad,
Oh.
call me deluded, call me mad. He loves a Villa, obviously. He was at Villa during the whole of the 2018-19 season, which he obviously got promoted.
Yeah.
And last season he scored what was it, 15 goals in the Premier League. Apparently
Mm.
there was something going on between him and Lampard a couple of weeks back, where Lampard called him a championship striker to his face. If that's true, he isn't being treated right. He isn't being treated right at the Bridge. Get him out of Chelsea. Get him back to the Midlands, back to Villa Park. Hopefully he can score some goals. Hopefully he can revamp his form. Refine his form, that he was in when he was at Villa Park before. Yes, it's a different league. But if you know where the back of the net is, you know where the back of the net is, don't you?
I agree with you in that aspect that we need a striker. 40 million, maybe not 40 million.
There's a lot of positions that need strengthening. 40 million, I think 40 million is right because he's young and he's English. Like Norwich won 50 million for Ben Godfrey. Like you've just got to look at it like that. It's a growing rate of players at the end of the day. Like you just got to look at it like that.
Yeah, especially with Werner, Giroud, Batshuayi. You know, you got to think it's not going to get his chance. We'll just rattle through these ones now, a little bit more personal. Favorite all-time Villa player?
All time. Does he have to be like that I've seen or any time?
Anybody you want, any circumstance, anything. Just Villa.
I've got quite a lot because personally for me it's got to be Sean Teal because I interviewed him a couple of weeks back and he's a really, really nice guy. He played for us in the 90s. He partnered with Paul McGrath. Obviously, I really like Paul McGrath as well. He's one of the best players to have ever played for our football club. But Sean Teal just seems like an absolute gentleman. I'd love to meet him one day. Spoke to him for about an hour one day. And it was just one of the best days of my life, one of the best experiences that I've had throughout my YouTube journey. I'll just give you one as well for like that I've seen personally. It's got to be Benteke, and it was just the way that he played throughout his Villa career was just unreal. Yes, Grealish, okay. I like Grealish, don't get me wrong, but he's not. Let's just put it this way: he's not an £80 million player, is he? I think
really?
Dean Smith has just said that he's. I don't think so. Like,
whoa.
yes,
I think
I've just literally. I don't know. I've just literally said that it's a growing rate of players, but if you're gonna slap an £80 million price tag on Jack Grealish, and surely players like I'm trying to think of a number 10 that's better than better than Jack Grealish, an English number 10, but I genuinely can't think of one. Let's just say if Grealish is worth 80 million, how much is De Bruyne worth? Let's be honest, he's got to be worth at least 700.
That's a different league.
Yeah, different story. But I think we sort of slapped that price tag on him to sort of scare United and Arsenal away. But no matter what, they will not. If Arsenal and United seriously want Grealish, they will not be paying 80 million. They'll pay around 50 million, and that'll be that. I personally think Grealish will stay though, and I'm glad that he is because he's been our star player from I don't know when.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite match from this season?
Well, I don't know. Does it have to be in the league or can it be in the cup?
Just any. We'll go any again.
I'll give you one for both then. Cup game, it's got to be the Leicester in the cup at home. Just the way we did it in the last minute as well. I've vlogged it as well. Funny thing is, I haven't done many vlogs this season. I've only really done. I think I've done 4. I'm going to do quite a lot when we allow back into stadiums. But I think I did Brighton at home, Watford at home, Leicester at home, and City in the final. Brighton at home, we scored a last-minute winner. Watford at home, we scored a last-minute winner. Leicester at home, we scored.
So to the female.
So me vlogging a game at Villa Park sort of brings a bit of luck. But vlogging Premier League games at Villa Park, he's bringing last-minute winners. But it's got to be one of them 3, I think. Last-minute winner. I just like limbs. Who
doesn't love the limbs?
Yeah. Leicester. It's got to be Leicester at home though. Leicester at home, yeah.
Nice as well. we'll end this one then on one final question, probably a hard one to make. But will Villa be staying up this season? And if they are, where do you think they're going to end?
It's hard to tell because we haven't signed any players yet, and we don't know who's going to be leaving the club. For all we know, Grealish, Mings, McGinn, Louise could all go to the same club next season, tomorrow. Sorry, and we'd be left with absolutely nothing, pretty much, because that's the main sort of squad took out of. Well, you get what I mean, don't you? If we keep Grealish and we sort it, and well, I think. It sounds stupid, but if Brentford stay down, I think we've got a very, very good chance of staying up because there's been a lot of Ben Rama, Watkins. They've worked under Dean Smith before, so that's the way I look at it. They worked under Dean Smith at Brentford, so they obviously know how he wants to play football, and if they don't go up, they'll want to be playing Premier League football. If you want to set a prediction on it, I'm going to stay optimistic as always. I'm going to say yes, we will stay up. Where we will finish, though, we can't tell. I'm just going to say, if we keep Grealish, sign Ben Rama, sign a good goal scorer, and strengthen the positions that need to be strengthened, I think we can finish comfortably mid-table. I'll probably look an absolute dickhead by the end of the season when we get relegated, but
well,
I can't personally see it happening.
Yeah,
let's hope anyway. I'm just going to be optimistic.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. If you want to go check out Harry, it'll be in the link in the description. Yeah, go check him out. Great content. Up the Villa with Harry.
Jimmy on a beat, boy.